Hey everybody, this is Frilioth and welcome to another Minecraft episode on the Alphacraft server. Right, we're back at spawn again today. We're back in the underbelly of the station, down where all the gubbins and magic and everything happens. And I've done a little bit of work off camera, so I just wanted to show you that before we carried on and did anything else. So what I've done, I suppose I should have started. Yeah, I should have started at the top. Should have, but didn't I? So I've dug out where the rails are going to go. They're going to go obviously in here. We've decided last episode that the departures were going to go from this side. So departures are going to go over that way. And arrivals are going to come in this way. So in here, we're going to have some kind of cactus kind of effect thing. Because I don't know if there's another way of breaking minecarts without pistons. Maybe pistons would do it, but certainly a cactus there on top of a hopper, which is probably going to run over there. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to stick a cactus in there. It would fit in there, wouldn't it? And and a hopper there. Brilliant. So that's that sorted out. And then the hoppers are going to run all the way along here. They're going to dispense them into a dispenser. Where's my dispensers? Dispensers. If we have a dispenser just there with a normal rail on top of it, will they dispense onto a normal rail? I think they will dispense onto a normal rail. And then you can come over and jump in the minecart, press forward, and off you go. Oh, see you, Biz. Sweet dreams, mate. Oh, that means it's going to be dark o'clock here in a second. Biz has been sleeping while I've been out and about, so it's going to get dark. But hey ho. So then you can push forward and go down here. So you'll be in your minecart. You'll whiz off down this way, down here, into here. Obviously, your track will have been pushed out, depending on your ticket. You're going to go off that way. We're going to use it in a minute. I'm going to give it a proper trial in a second because we've dug, or I've dug all the way down to where I think we'll have the minecarts going from. Because Jaques has already, and I think I mentioned this in the last episode as well, Jaques has already dug his rail system all the way back to his base at, I think it was Y11, Y12, can't remember. But anyway, that's Jaques and Wild Station is the first one. It runs that way and then onto their line. So we'll try that out in a minute. But what I want to do as well today is we need to stick in a system where it automatically dispenses the minecarts onto the rail, but only if you throw in a valid ticket. I don't want people walking by and throwing their rubbish on the floor and it activating a minecart. That'd just be stupid, wouldn't it? So we need to come up with a system where the minecart is only dispensed when a ticket is validated, or when a valid ticket is thrown in. If you throw in a valid ticket, it gets sucked down into one of these item sorters. If you don't throw in a valid ticket, it comes all the way over to here, and we're going to have this being dispensed into lava eventually. So if you throw in a diamond, then that's your hard lookout. That is, you're going to lose it. But we can't just have a comparator coming off one of these top hoppers that activates every time you throw in a ticket. Because as I say, if you throw in a bit of rubbish, it's going to activate. So we're going to have to pull a signal from somewhere else. Now, when you you put in a valid ticket. If we put in, should have sorted this out beforehand. If we put in Kenny's ticket, it's going to extend that line down to there, which is going to activate the piston. It's going to turn off that torch over the back as well. Could we use that torch if it turns that off? Could we use that? I guess we could, couldn't we? If we used a that would activate if we might be onto a winner here. If we put those down there, when the item goes through the sorter, the torch is going to turn off and then back on again. So the observer is going to detect the change in that. It's going to put a line down here, but it'll put 2 pulses through it, because it'll detect when the torch turns off, it'll detect when the torch turns back on again. So we need to put in some kind of lag, some kind of delay. So if we put that there on 4 ticks, would that would work, wouldn't it? I guess there's only one way to find out. We'll have to stick Kenny's ticket in, or somebody's ticket in. Who's have I got? I've got JJ's. If we stick JJ's ticket in the system, we should hear the piston fire only once. Don't think there's going to be a way of me getting around to be able to see it, or is there? Maybe there is. So if we stick JJ's ticket in up there, but the piston should fire once. Oh, I think we're onto a winner. So now we can extend this line up to the top. Oh, let me just double check that if I throw in a bit of rubbish, it's not going to activate. It shouldn't do. There's no reason at all why it should do. So we lob in a bit of cactus. Nothing happens. Excellent. Cactus is over here. JJ's ticket has gone into the system. So if we hook that up to the dispenser, only a valid ticket going through the system is going to activate a minecart. Fabulous. Time to put down some redstone. Right, I've been and grabbed myself a minecart, which is all well and good, but then I remembered that you really want to be kicked out before you go into here. So we'll probably kick you out here. So if we stick a powered torch there, that there, and then an activator rail. Oh, I don't have a normal rail. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And I can't power that rail, because if I do, it's going to lock the hopper. I'm going to have to I'll have to come back and put a normal rail in. Anyway, so if we jump in, here. Brilliant. Unfortunately, it kicks us out on the rail. I've not yet been able to figure out how to get us kicked out onto the platform. Maybe I'll raise that up so it's level with the platform. Maybe that'll do it. So now, brilliant. There's a minecart in there. So if we come along here and throw in a bit of dirt, I'll try and kid the system. Bit of dirt. No minecart. If I throw in JJ's ticket, there it is. It's dispensed a minecart. Right, we're going to go, hopefully, and we're going to go to JJ. Well, I'm going to start going to JJ's base. I won't take you all the way there, but I'm going to start going there, so we can just test this out. So that's working. That's working. That's working. Oh, what a ride! Brilliant. That's working like a charm, isn't it? Right, we've not yet put in the system for when we go back that way. So this won't take you back to the arrivals part of the station just yet. But eventually we will do. But I'm going to have a ride to JJ's base and then back again. And then I shall meet you back at the spawn station. Right, back at the station again. Now, if some of you alphas are thinking of being a bit clever and bringing your own minecart, which in fairness, we've got enough iron over there to make 1 million minecarts, so it wouldn't be difficult. If you bought your own and just lobbed it on the track and set off without selecting a station, this is what's going to happen to you. Now, I wanted it to deposit you in lava, but that's a bit mean. So you're just going to go straight through and then back out up the top. And the best part about it is you'll lose your minecart. So it'll belong to the station. So no cheating, alphas. Right, now that's all sorted out. I'm really pleased with that. What we need to do next is come up with a system to dispense the tickets. And that's going to happen over here by the ticket officers. Now, it would be easy, really easy, to put a line of buttons here with dispensers underneath them, or droppers underneath them, and you came up and you found Luke's base and you pressed the button and it gave you a ticket, or you went and you found Biz's base, pressed the button, it gave you a ticket, or you found Smurf's base, pressed the button. But I didn't want that. I think I'm probably going to go with something far too over-engineered, far too complicated for its own good, and it does mean filling in some of these. How many times am I going to say Soz JJ? So we'll fill a few of these in, and I'm going to have an item frame with an arrow on it, and you'll spin it round to the station you want to go to. You'll press a button, and then you'll come up to... it would be nice to have a window. Maybe it'll look like a window. Maybe it'll look like this, but it's going to have a dispenser in it, not a person. And then your ticket will get spat at you, and then you can wander off over there and throw your ticket at the conductor. So that's what I'm going to do, I think, next, is probably fill these gaps in and start working on the gubbins behind it. Right, so I've been and collected a few more bits and pieces, predominantly redstone, and we're going to start lobbing some of this in. So sorry again, JJ. I do feel really guilty about doing this. Not guilty enough to stop, obviously, but guilty nevertheless. So this is going to have to come out. I'll put most of it back. I'll put some of it back. Possibly. Maybe. You know what it's like. So I'm going to want a selector panel. Where's the bang in the middle? If that's bang in the middle, I want a dropper in there. If I found as well that working backwards, if I want something to be in a specific place, I need to put it there to start with and then work my way back to it. Because if I started to put the redstone in at the back and then I wanted the dropper to come out here, there's a very good chance that I'd have to move all the redstone. Stuff going to start falling down on me. So I've learned the hard way that if I want something doing backwards, if I want something in a specific place, I have to put it there to start with. So I want that there, and I don't want to be able to see it. I want the ticket to be spat out of here, but I don't want to be able to see the dropper. So I want something like that, which is great. And then I need some... This is just to give you a rough idea, actually, of how I want it to look. This won't be a block by block tutorial kind of thing, but we'll have that there, and we'll have that there, and that there. There. And then we'll have that on... that on there, that on there. Now you can pull a signal out of the back of these depending on where this is pointed, and most of you know that. So that's what I'm going to use. There are going to be comparators on the back of that. And then there are going to be signs. Have I got any signs? Got a few. There are going to be signs all the way around. Probably not going to put... I'm going to put the button on the bottom. I was umming about putting the button on the top or the bottom. I think we'll have it there. So we'll have the names of the stations on there. You'll flick that round to wherever you want to go to. Press the button, and then your ticket is going to be dispensed out of the middle. Brilliant. JJ. I know you'll say you don't mind, but I'm sure you secretly do. Right. I'm not going to do it with that, am I? So if we do one side first, we'll need to dig out underneath here because I'm probably going to need to pull, well, I am going to need to pull a redstone signal out of that into a little mechanism that it's going to be easier for me to, whoa! It's going to be easier for me to build some of it first. There is a gizmo that I've been using that I used, and if you've ever seen my tutorial for the bubble column multi-floor elevator, I use it in that, and if you haven't seen that, go and check it out because it is amazing balls, even if I say so myself. But before we do any of that, before you do that, finish watching the end of this episode, obviously. So let me lob down the mechanism in here, and then we'll have a talk through it. So I've got the first part of it in. I've got the first part that pulls a signal out of the item frame. Now, an item frame will give off a signal strength depending on where the arrow is. So that's the maximum signal strength. That gives off a signal of 8. So it goes all the way to the end there. This will give off a signal strength of only 1. So it'll only give off a signal strength to there. But I only want one output. I only want one of these torches to be on. So if it wasn't for all of this underneath, I'd either have all of the torches on or all of the torches off or some of them on. So how this works is, let's put it onto 2. Put it onto 3. Okay, so now the comparator is pulling a signal strength of 3 out of that item frame. So it's lit up 3 pieces of dust. So 1, 2, 3. And it also lights up 3 pieces of dust along the top as well. So it lights up 1, then 2, and then 3. Now that piece of dust there is lit up. So the third repeater along is lit up, which is turning off all these 3 torches. Okay, because all those 3 repeaters are on because they're being powered by the back dust. So all these 3 torches are off. Okay, and with the torches being off, it means that these torches on the front would normally be on. Okay, if the torches at the back are on, it means the torches at the front at the top are off. Alright, so the 3 repeaters here that are lit up are turning off those torches. What it's also doing is it's lighting up these 2 pieces of dust as well, which is turning on those 2 repeaters. And with those 2 repeaters on, it's turning off these torches. So these 3 torches, these 3 repeaters turning off these 3 torches. Those 2 repeaters are turning off these 2 torches. So the only one that's going to be lit up is the third torch, because we're on level 3. We're on the third of the way round. So if I go round to 7, then 7 of those are lit up, 6 of these are lit up. It means that the only torch lit up at the top is the 7th one. Okay, I'm probably not, again, explaining that very well. There, 8th one. Probably the 3rd one. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. 4th one, 1, 2, 3, 4. Otherwise, it would mean all of the torches or none of the torches or some of the torches would be lit up, and that's going to be no good for this system. So that's the first part of it. Now we need to stick in a mechanism that is going to fire a dispenser when you've selected a ticket. Okay, so if you wanted to select ticket number, station number 1, let's call it Smurf Space, then you put it to level 1, that lights up, and then the dispenser, the hopper, the dropper will dispense the ticket. But I don't want the dispensers or the droppers firing every time you spin that around, otherwise you're going to have tickets flying out all over the place. So we're going to have to stick in, that's why I've put that block there, we're going to have to stick in a sort of a would you call it a monostable circuit? You probably wouldn't. We're going to have to stick in a mechanism that only fires the droppers when you press the button. Okay, and that's going to be pretty straightforward. All I'm going to have to do is stick a sticky piston just there, I believe it is. Which I don't have on me. Of course I don't. Look at this. So if we stick a sticky piston just there with a block on it, you'll see then we can spin this around as much as we like. None of these lights are going to light up because the signal's being stopped just there. If I put a signal through, and I'm going to stop doing this now because this is just going to get boring for you guys, I'm sure it is. If we put that there to there, when we press that button now, that's going to go across, causing one of these to light up. So if we have the fourth one lit up, there, the fourth one lights up and then goes off. Eighth one lights up and then goes off. I'm going to have to play with the... Might have to play with the timings on there because I saw them flashing and I really don't need them to be flashing. Yeah, play with the timings, that's all it's going to be. Yeah, so now I've just got to stick in the dispensers. I keep calling them dispensers, they're droppers. I only need droppers. I'm going to stick some droppers and some hoppers above those. So I've got my droppers in. Let's see if we can see them. I love jump 2. Have I mentioned how much I love jump 2? So I've got my my torches are down there that light up under the bottom. There's a block on top of them. Then there's the droppers on top of those pointing into a line of hoppers, which then run down to the dropper that will dispense the ticket out of the front. So now we just need a little mechanism to fire the dropper when there's a ticket in it. Now, I suppose I'm going to struggle to do a normal one. A normal little clock thing because of all the redstone that's going to be around it. So I think I've come up with a really ingenious way of doing it. So if I can do it now, I'm going to be dead impressed. We need an observer pointing into that. We need an observer facing down, just there, like that. Fill this in. Oh, JJ, all of this mess, all of your hard work. I don't need that, and I don't know why I've got a painting. And then if we have a comparator, couldn't think of what it was then. Have a comparator off the back of that, like that, and then a bit of dust there. Now every time something goes into the dropper, the comparator is going to pick it up, which is going to put a pulse through that observer, which is going to be picked up by that observer, which is going to fire the dropper. So the item should then get spat out the front. So if we stick a couple of things in, let's stick some sand in dropper number 1, select, you see nothing happens while I'm spinning that. If it wasn't for this piston here, then every time I span that round, you'd have hoppers clicking and all kinds of droppers clicking and everything. So that's not happening. So if we put it to number 1 and then we press the button, here it is. I amaze myself. I do. It's brilliant. So if we I'm sorry, I'm just going to play with this for a couple of seconds longer. Let's put that picture in there. So if we swift it round to number 2, we should get the picture now. I am as chuffed as rocks. Right, now what we need to do, that's pretty successful, don't you think? And fortunately, JJ had left enough room behind the back of here for me to mess about with this stuff. So thanks for that, JJ. I appreciate that. It's meant I don't have to mess about and dig out all of the walls and everything. So what do I need to do now? Now I need to put in a sorting system, don't I, to resort the tickets when they come back again. So they're going to come back over this way. I then need to get them in the correct droppers. And to do that, we're just going to have some kind of bog standard sorting system, I guess. Plenty of room over the back, isn't there? So I could probably do it. Do I do it on top or do I do it at the back? I'll do it at the back. And then it won't have to go up so high. Oh, sorry, JJ. This is where we get rushed when I'm not watching. Let's put those there so I don't. Right, so I need to, let me just lob in another, a bit more storage, a bit of a sorting system over the back. And then, do I leave this open for you to be able to see in? It's industrial, it's steampunk, you're supposed to be able to see the mechanism working, aren't you? Maybe I'll just put iron rails here so you can actually see this all working. Maybe I'll have a think about that. Right, the item sorter seems to have taken up quite a lot more space than anything else, but then I expected it to. And fortunately, I remembered, or I noticed that the bottom one, what would that be? 1, 2, 3. Number 4 was never going to get used because that's where your button is. So we can't have a station there, which means we didn't need all of this stuff for line number 4. And the like, otherwise we'd never use it. So there's no point in filling it up. So what have we got now? We've got the start button, the start block that pushes over to start the system in the first place. We've got the droppers that fire the tickets out into the hopper line that takes them to the dispenser down there, the dropper down there that fires them off. We've now got a sorting system, which is your basic bog standard sorting system, where we've got a torch here locking that bottom hopper. Can't get out. Claustrophobic. And then we'll put 18, 22. We'll put 22 items into these hoppers here, and then one of the tickets as well, and then all of the tickets that come back from the station, from when people put them in the throw them to the guard, they'll come back along this hopper chain here, and when they get above the correct dropper they'll fall down into it, and this will go around from this side all the way around and down the other side as well. And I'll probably put it on a loop just in case, just for in cases, really. So that's it. So I think, can we test it? I don't know whether we can test it. I'm going to need a load more filler blocks. We'll test it once more. Let's just do it once more. Let's stick an item in. We'll stick a dropper in number 1. Oh crikey! Frightened the life out of me then. Put it to number 8. Yeah, the hopper click. Did you hear the dropper click? Obviously there's nothing in it, so therefore it's not going to spit it out. So if we go to number 1, there it is. Excellent. Did you see that, mate? Did you see that? You impressed? Go and tell your mates. No? Have you lost somebody? I hate it when you're in a station and you lose people. You need to get a big sign instead of holding that sword, don't you? Right, so that's that done. I need to now put all of that over the other side. Over here. Great. And then fill it with filler blocks and tickets and put the signs up. Woohoo, we're nearly there. It's all up and running. I've put in, and I'm not going to run through all of it because I know this episode is cracking on quite a lot. But underneath here, there's a line of droppers that go all the way down to level 63, I think it is. And it's got my little, the item elevator thing, redstone on the back of it. It's late. I've been on this all day. It's late. You'll have to forgive me just for a second or two. But that goes up to a chain of hoppers at the top. Am I going to be able to get up there? I'm probably not. No. I'd like to be able to. Let's get up there. Jump. So we've got a chain of hoppers going up to here. I was going to have this chain of hoppers on a big loop, but then I thought if somebody were to throw in somewhere around the system a bit of rubbish, it's just going to sit in here and go around and round and round forever, which wouldn't be very good. And also, if you happen to throw in something that you wanted, your sword or whatever, then you'd have no way of getting it out without climbing in here and ripping it all out. So what I've done, and I've tidied up all the front of it, JJ, you'll be happy to hear. What I've put over here is a lost property kind of chest, just there. So anything that goes into the system that doesn't get sucked out, any tickets that won't get sucked out, will go all the way to this chest here, which is brilliant. Also, I've filled up, the only ticket that's currently working is JJ's. So all the rest of them are filled with filler blocks at the moment. So every one of these tickets, every one of these item sorters is currently filled with a filler block, bar JJ and Wild's, because they're the only ones that have finished their rails at the moment. There's no point in putting everybody else's tickets in there because they're going to go nowhere. So the alphas have got to get their fingers out and start digging their tunnels. So if we want a JJ's ticket now, flick it round to JJ and Wild. I keep saying JJ, it's JJ and Wild. Sorry, Wild. JJ and Wild. Press the button. We get JJ and Wild's ticket, and then we can go off and go off and running. If, however, you've got the ticket and you don't really want it, then just lob it back in the used ticket chest. I'll put a sign on there. Have I got a sign? I'll put a sign on there saying unwanted tickets. That'll put it back into the system and take it back to where it's got to go, back to there. But if you throw something in there that you wanted, like your steak, oh, what have I done? I've thrown my steak in the system. Don't panic. That'll go all the way around the system, and eventually, because there are quite a few hoppers in here for it to go around, but eventually it'll make its way round to this chest here. So don't worry if you throw something in there that you don't want, it will end up over here, and I'll put a sign on that one as well. And like I said, I've left it all open so you can see in. Don't know, you'll have to let me know what you think. Do I need to open it up more? Do I need to close it all up so you can't see it? What do you think? Let me know. So it's working. Everything's up and running now. All we've got to do now is get the alphas to start digging their tunnels. So it's time to call it a day for today then, everybody. Thank you very, very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you have enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to leave it a like. If you've got any questions, stick them in the comments below and I will try my best to answer them. And don't forget to like and subscribe for future videos. This is Frilioth and I'm out of here.